The Senate has defended the amendments to the Electoral Act, saying the lawmakers painstakingly worked for the best interests of Nigerians. The spokesman of the Senate, Yemi Adaramodu, has been quoted as saying during an interview that, in his words, anyone who loves Nigeria will know that what we have done is the best for Nigeria, end of quote. But the question is, if the people feel that the Senate's decision is indeed in their best interest, as we've seen protests by citizens outside the National Assembly, Abuja, accusing the ruling All Progressives Congress, APC, of deliberately undermining electoral transparency by opposing real-time electronic transmission of election results. Joining us on the show as we continue to discuss the reactions the Electoral Act is generating in Nigeria is Adebayo Balogun, Chairman of the House of Representatives Committee on Electoral Matters. Good morning, Honorable Balogun. You're most welcome to the morning show.
Good morning.
Hello, Honorable. Well, good to see you again.
Good morning.
Are you with us? Okay. Now, very quickly, some of the commentators on this amendment of Section 60 of the Electoral Act 2022, they've been quoting the House of Reps version, that is a preferred version. As a chairman of the House of Reps committee, can you hear me, Honorable? Are you hearing me?
You.
Okay.
Yeah,
As a chairman of the House Committee
Yes.
on Electoral Matters, can you tell us what the issue is with Section 60 for protesters, conscientious objectors to say they prefer the version of the House of Reps? And now that the Senate has now taken a decision in its votes and proceedings process, now we're going to have a conference of the two committees, your committee and that of the Senate. What should we expect, considering that we have also had House of Reps wants to, adjust itself, further amend what it has already passed in November, December last year. We need that clarification. And it's good to have you here as the chairman of that House committee addressing that contentious Section 60.
Well, thank you for having me. I believe we should first agree that what we all want is a good electoral system. And we should be ready to at least hear all people concerned as we go along in this process. Yeah, what has been the contentious clause is it is about the issue of real time. I think that's the major problem that we have. The issue about transmitting. Hello?
Yeah, we're hearing you.
I can't hear you again.
No, please go ahead.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
Okay, so what the major contentious word there is real time. And I think while we were doing this, going through this bill, yes, we consulted with every stakeholders, and as at that period, well, nobody actually saw any harm in the real time being introduced as requested by majority of people. But after the passage of the House of Reps version, by the time the Senate are passing down, I think there were a lot of public opinions and speculation from some people with the interpretation of their own version of real time, taking real time to be at least like a display of results coming in that you'll be seeing on a dashboard, like when you are watching CNN. And when there's such implication is actually happening, and I think with the wisdom of the Senate, they felt, look, this might cause a major problem for us. If people are actually seeing real time as being in transmission that will be showing on a dashboard, and that's the narrative some people are actually selling around. That means if it does not happen that way, then we have another issue like we had during the 2023 election when INEC was accused of overpromising. Because if you look at what actually this IREV is, if you check Section 62, that is where the function of IREV is actually explained. That the Commission shall compile, maintain and update on a continuous basis, a register of election results to be known as the National Electronic Register of election results, which shall be a distinct database or a repository of polling unit by polling unit results, including collated election results of each election conducted by the Commission in the Federation, and the register of election results shall be kept in electronic format by the Commission at its national headquarters. So the issue of IREV is for the use of INEC. And if politicians will come out and be talking about they want transmission of a result that they already have a copy of, every agent was given a copy of that from ECHA after being signed by all the agents. You get a copy, and the police officer also gets a copy, or whatever security officer comes to the venue is given a copy. So why are you looking for a copy of what you already have in the IREV? But I think one major reason why we had that issue was some parties who could not get agents, enough agents for their party in all the polling units, now decided to wait for the IREV to be their own agent, where they can get results from ECHA result, which the agent ought to have gotten from the polling unit. Because if you are supposed to have your result already, you are supposed to go to your own situation room and collate all the results. And if there is any discrepancy between what you collated and what INEC declare as the result, you now have a basis to now say, in Ward A352, my party scored 98, we were given 20. Or another party scored 300 and it was turned to 1,300 by adding 1,000 in front. You'll be able to prove such. And that is the essence of this from ECHA. So, and if you look at the judgment of the Supreme Court, where they said the IREV is not a collation center, and that is the truth, because it's your from ECHA that is the raw data that you are going to use to prove any election. That is the result. What you have on the IREV is just a photocopy of it. You snap it, it's a picture of that result you already have with you. And if there is any discrepancy, or maybe the INEC officer between the movement from the polling unit to the next level of collation, maybe there was an attack on his person, okay, and the documents were taken away from him. He has something he has already posted, which he can fall back on. But when you now turn that to the documents for your party, then it becomes worrying. And that's one of the reasons, okay, the senators believe that if you now put real time, that could be made an issue, because real time can only come when you are voting electronically. It is the result you are just transferring or okay, transmitting, or whatever word we decide to use.
Okay. Honorable Balogun, thank you so much. And I mean, from your opening statements, it seems now that the House of Reps is now in alignment with the Senate's decision with regards to the wording of that particular section that has been quite controversial in the Electoral Amendment Bill of 2026. But let me give you a scenario. So what happened in Rivers State, for instance, in the 2023 election, whereby there was a discrepancy, or there were discrepancies between what was finally announced as result, or what the Form EC8 had, and what was uploaded to the IREV. In fact, there were instances where some results were seen manually cancelled. How the purpose of this amendment is to prevent incidents like that and to make election processes in Nigeria more credible. To what extent has this amendment addressed that issue? That's a fundamental for a number of people, and that's why when it's not real time uploaded to IREV, it doesn't address the issue. We'll get into 2027 with the same challenges. What's your take on that?
You see, that's why I asked, what do we really want? If the challenge we have at hand is the discrepancy between results, if you have a result from 5 parties and one party's own is different, then you can deduce who actually forged or not. Because at least it's not going to be one party. At least most of the time you have at least nothing less than 9 parties participating in an election, and all of them have a copy. They all have a copy given to them. So if you get to the next level of collation, which is usually at the ward level, and you are now submitting your results, if party A bring something else that is different from the party B, C, D, and E. And I'm sure the officer in charge will know what is actually happening, will know which one to collect and which should be the next, the appropriate one to rely on. So that's what we are saying, that the result on the IREV is just what the presiding officer have just posted. If it gets to that level and they now open it and it's not different from what they have, and the other parties too have the same thing. So I'm sure the presiding officer and the collating officer will rely on the ones brought by all the other parties. It's not going to be automatically what you have on the IREV. Even the IREV is not supposed to be used directly at the collation center, because when you're at the collation center, the one posted might not have arrived. And it's not that you have a kind of a TV that you'll be viewing at that center. So if the presiding officer, the collating officer want to check, that means he's going to just open his phone, click into the IREV, INEC portal, to go to the IREV collation that he has, to now check for that particular unit. So it's not like a display that everybody will be seeing. It is you that will go into your own laptop or your phone to check into IREV portal and now look for the IREV results from that particular unit. So when people call it a viewing center, and I find that to be misleading, because you are not going to be viewing it from anywhere. It's you that will have to open your phone.
It's actually a ruling. No, sir, it's not people that are calling it a viewing center. It's actually based on the ruling of the Supreme Court. That I said that it's just
that means you are personally viewing it. No, that means you can personally view it. But it's not going to be a general viewing center.
Honorable Balogun, I hear your arguments loud and clear. Thank you for doing the Lord's work. It's Nigeria that is not ready for many things. Thank you. You people have passed your beats. We have seen all the arguments. But if we are not ready to do the Lord's work, we should continue our folly. What I just want to add.
Rufai, please, you see, let's be careful. Let's try and get our people educated and let them understand what the situation is. What we are saying is the important part. Number one, the best thing that has actually happened within this process is the BVAS that ensures accreditation, digital accreditation now, biometric accreditation, and that is the best you can get in any part of the world. There's nobody doing anything better than that for
Balogun.
now. And that is the area the major ojoro happens. When 2,000 people will be voting where you have not more than 20 people. We have been able to skip that now with the introduction of BVAS. So wait, let's educate people. I'm here today because we want to really educate people. I'm not here to win an argument.
Chief Balogun.
Let me explain. Let's talk to the public.
Chief Balogun, I say I'm on your side now. I agree with what you are saying.
Continue.
You've made all the argument. In fact, I'm even thanking you for doing the Lord's work. What do you want again? Did I fight you?
When you are being sarcastic.
Mi ò kógun wá sọ́dọ̀ Balogun. I'm not being sarcastic. Mi ò kógun wá. I come in peace. In fact, I'm appreciating the House of Rep for the job well done. Maybe it's the fear. That's why you think I'm being sarcastic. It's not me, no. In fact, I'm thanking you for a good job. So don't be afraid.
Thank you.
The most important thing I want to ask you is this. Is there anything you people can do to ensure that the one you people in the House of Rep passed is what is adopted? That's my own. You can see I'm not being sarcastic now.
You see, don't make it. You see, one thing is like, don't make it House versus Senate. That's what we are saying. It's about what is the better version. What are the issues on ground? When we get to the meeting, there will be discussion. Everybody will present his own facts, and at the end of the day, we'll take a position. And that's why we usually have equal numbers, so that when it gets to division, we now vote on each issue. And I think this is not even the most important of those clauses that were amended. The one on 90 days, there was this one that was reduced from 360 days to 180 days. That's a major factor. We've been talking to INEC. Can you cope?
Mr. Balogun, are you saying that the ones that the Nigerian people are not happy about that the Senate did is better than the one that the House of Rep passed? Is that what you are saying?
There's no difference now because they've actually admitted that
Mr.
transmission
Balogun, there's difference,
will be done.
There's difference.
The only difference now is real time or no real time.
Mr.
Real time is
Balogun,
only
there's
what now
difference.
different.
Don't say there's no difference. There's difference. That's why Dr. Abati was telling you that the court
difference
called
is real
it
time.
No, there's difference. That's why Dr. Abati told you that the court called it a viewing portal. So there's difference. Maybe if you don't know the argument, maybe we can. Johnny Yangokoro called it the viewing center.
No. Let me
Mr. Balogun, it's a case. We are not being sarcastic here. It's a case of understanding. Mr. Balogun, there is difference between what the Senate passed and what you people passed in the House.
No, but
Yes,
Honorable, let me help you.
That's
Let
the
me help
difference.
you. Let me help you. You are still going to the reconciliation stage. During reconciliation, it's going to be either or.
Yes.
Now, from what you are saying now, do you see a situation whereby the position of the Senate will be the one that will pass through either this or that one process during reconciliation?
That's what we're asking you.
That's a simple matter.
No, it is when we get there because the committee is made up of all the different parties. It's not just the ruling party.
Okay,
You have the
yes, I was going to just ask.
APD, we have the PDP,
The Senate or the one you passed in the House of Reps?
Let me tell you this. Let me tell you this first. From the two versions, there is none of the versions that says that the result of the IREV will be the one to be used. Let's get that straight. This is still the form EC8A. Yes, go and read the law.
No, but you see, that's wait a minute. Honorable Balogun, God bless you for what you said.
Because you are not. You are confusing.
Listen to me, Honorable Balogun. Just listen, please.
Yeah.
Uweboyi, Senator
Okay, let me
Uweboyi.
read the section for you.
Wait now, Honorable Balogun. Wait, you just wait. Wait, let me talk now.
The section has actually been scrolling on the TV screen,
So it's
people
been
have
scrolling
seeing it.
Senator Uweboyi came to say something different yesterday, Abi, where he said that both what is on the IREV and what is in EC8A form can both be admitted by the court. But I'm happy you are also now saying this contrary, and that's why I kept on asking Uweboyi yesterday, that are you sure that the court will accept what's on the IREV? He said yes, and both was on it. But you are saying something contrary today. You see what's going on?
Hello.
How are you, sir?
Hello. Please.
How are
read
you,
the
sir?
law. Hello, read it. Let me read the section for you. Now, 161 says the presiding officer shall, after counting the votes at the polling unit, enter the votes scored by each candidate on the form to be prescribed by the commission, that's the EC8A. The form shall be signed and stamped by the presiding officer and countersigned by the candidate or the agents where available at the polling unit. The commission shall electronically transmit the result from each polling unit to the IREV portal in real time. That's what the difference between us and theirs. And such transmission shall be done simultaneously with the physical collation of results. That is it. You see, you read this but as it is written, not as I'm thinking. This is what we have on it. And the presiding officer shall count and announce the results. That's what we have.
Honorable Balogun, in a case where you want to defend your election results, which one will you take, EC8A or the result on the IREV? Which one will the court accept?
I've just read the
No, I'm asking you a question. Answer, it's not what you read. Wait now, Honorable Balogun, listen to me. Don't evade my question. In a case where you have grounds, you want evidence to defend your election results, which one will the court accept? The EC8A physical form or the result on the IREV?
Why will you ask me what the court will accept? I'm telling you what the law says.
I'm just asking you, what will the court accept? What is justiciable? Honorable Balogun, you can't answer the question. You can't answer the question because you don't even know the law. Go ahead, please.
Dr. Abati.
Honorable Balogun, we have to go now. Honorable Balogun.
Let me talk to...
No, it's a... Honorable Balogun. 30 seconds, please.
You see, let's always live by the dictates of the law. It's not about what we feel. We don't bring sentiment to this to fore when issues like this arises. And that's why I said, let me read verbatim what it says. Most of the time, we only assume and we only think out of what the law is saying. I've just read what the law says now, and I don't think any part of this law says otherwise than what I've been telling you. So let's read what the law says so that we can interpret it better. The court can only interpret what the law says, not what they will generate from their own mind.
Thank you so very much for your time with us, Honorable Balogun. And like you mentioned, there will still have to be that harmonization with what the House of Reps passed and what the Senate have passed. We look forward to what the eventual, the conclusion would be based on that meeting.